What did the film say to you now that you've gotten a chance to go back and watch and pick it all apart? How well did the defense do relative to what your plan was?
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things to where, win or loss, you're gonna take a deep look into it. But when you lose, you want to kind of analyze everything in terms of really what, as small the details as you can, what we could have done better. And I thought we played a pretty good game. I think we kind of got off to a slow start there. But it's one of those things to where we didn't get the job done. So there's always more to do. But we're encouraged, man. We're excited, and honestly, we're on to Indy.
You talked about the slow start. We've seen in 2 straight weeks now, the second halves have just been phenomenal, giving up a total of 3 points. Clearly, there's been some adjustments made. I don't know if that's relative to the starts you were talking about or just you guys doing better in the second half. What do you attribute the success that you've had against a couple of teams now in the second half of games?
I mean, I think there's a couple things, but number one, I think it's more so us just kind of getting our feet in the ground and getting settled, and then we come out in the second half and we kind of have a good idea of what to expect, and we're just executing a little better, to be honest with you. I think in those first couple drives, we didn't start out too hot, but that's kind of the NFL, right? You kind of get some unscouted looks, you get some things that you don't really know what's going to happen, but I thought we did a good job of weathering the storm and coming out in the second half and shutting it down. But I think our coaches to the players, just done a good job of being on the same page. And in the NFL, that's honestly half the battle.
It gets annoying after a while seeing every team be able to kick like a 60-yard field goal like it's nothing. And it's one thing as a fan to sort of now recalibrate what a successful defensive stop is. It's like, well, they're going to hold him to a 60-yard field goal attempt, and boom, it's good by 10 yards. It has to be immensely frustrating when it's your job to do it, and you're not watching on your couch.
Yeah, it's I mean, hats off to that guy too, the Houston guy. I mean, he hit some bombs. I think the being indoor, helps a little bit. The turf helps and all that, but seeing some of those long field goals go in, it gets you for sure because you want to hold them to 0 points, but a good offense like that will definitely take three if we have to, but one of those could have moved a little left or right for sure, but it didn't fall that way.
TJ, we're reading different accounts of what that locker room was like on Sunday, the heaviness of it all. People kind of commenting that, it didn't feel like a team that had just lost a game, but really had a major setback maybe in terms of what you guys expected from yourselves. I'm just curious as to if you felt that and if that's more about what you guys went through at the beginning of last season or just you thought you would be better as a team to start this year.
I mean, I don't think it's one of those things to where people are looking at it as a setback. It's the NFL, right? Sometimes the other team beats you, and that's kind of the way it goes. But I think what we're encouraged about is it's all controllables in our end, and I think when you lose, right, your expectations are so high because that's kind of the standard that we've set here. That's the culture that we've built. And so when those things don't go the way they should. Everyone obviously, no one's jumping for joy or anything like that, but we want to get answers. We want to figure out kind of what happened and how we can get better from it. But I think coming in Monday, we got back at about 4:15 in the morning. So a little bit of sleep, and then coming in Monday around noon one, we got to watch the tape as a team and be critical and move on. That's what it's about because no one's gonna feel sorry for you, no one's gonna feel bad for you. There's another game this Sunday, so we're ready to go and we're excited about it.
When did Andrew Billings get this good?
I think Big Bill. I think he's always been dominant. I think people are just starting to recognize it a little bit more, see him a little bit more. But you want to just talk about a immovable object, man. That's Big Bill. He does all the dirty work. Playing D line in the NFL in general is one of the most selfless positions in the league because you're just taking on 600 pounds every single play and kind of have to deal with it at times. And those dudes are so valuable to us. But I am really happy for him that he's kind of getting some praises. He should, man. He's a beast, man. We need him, and he does so much for us. He really does.
We just said that the forced fumble in that situation is everything that Matt Eberflus says the hits principle is about. of taking every play with time on the clock as seriously as you possibly can, and always knowing that no matter what's going on, no matter where your opponent is, no matter what the scoreboard says, something like that will change an NFL game. It's just a matter of making it happen. So, as I said, somebody had to stop the tape right there and point to Big Bill and say, "This is what we're all about."
Yeah, yeah. I was actually in the defensive unit room. That was the first thing that we watched when we got in there on Monday. Because that time in the game, kind of what they were doing on offense, they were driving a bit. That comes down to straight pride, to be honest with you. That comes down to, willing our team, to have a chance to win at the end of the game. And like we said, man, Big Bill, he was actually fighting off a double team and popped off and just put his helmet on the ball, man. And like I said, when a dude like that can hit a running back, good things for us normally happen. And he's able to make a big time play for us. So it was a play that was needed for sure.
So Jalen Johnson, we know he got paid, right? And like the big question is what's going to happen after you get paid, and will he have that same motivation? It seems like when he didn't make the NFL's top 100, he had a new gripe and a new kind of chip on his shoulder from that. And as you're watching that film and as you're seeing the results of the games and how well the defense is playing, how good has he been in just taking away what quarterbacks can do? Because we talk about it here. I mean, it seems like he's taking away half the field.
Yeah, and I mean, Jay, he's just everything he does, he's so professional about it, right? From camp to practice to meetings. He's a guy who always wants more, and definitely a guy that you want on your side. I mean, I think he's still very underrated for what he does, and I think more will come with this year with how well he's going to play. But I mean, just a great all around guy, man, and he's definitely got that dog in him, that chip on his shoulder from last year, and getting that respect. And but you need that, right? I want my corners to think they're the best in the league. I know that. So to have a guy like that and Reek on the other side, I think they complement each other well. And don't forget too, Jalen can tackle with the best of them. So.
There was some extracurricular activity going on in this game, a punch thrown that I'm sure is going to be fined in a couple days, even if the referees didn't seem to see it. What rules do you have from your coaches, and what are the sort of unwritten rules of professional courtesy when it comes to protecting your quarterback on the sidelines, responding to what you think may be a late hit while not endangering your team with penalties and ejections?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always that kind of that fine line of what's too much and what's kind of accepted. And again, you don't necessarily know how they're going to call it and things like that. But for us, and I'm pretty sure for every team in the NFL, they're going to protect their quarterback. And our guys felt that that hit was maybe a little late or a little high, and our O line did a great job of protecting him. I think that's our guy. That's our leader that we believe in, and as an O line, as a team, we're gonna stand up for him. And I'm sure other guys aren't gonna like that when that happens, and that's kind of how it goes. And in the heat of the moment, you never know kind of what's gonna happen and kind of which way it's gonna go. But it's definitely going to be exciting to some sort, but you definitely want to keep your cool as much as you can. It's hard. It's hard to do. You're out there battling and giving everything that you have to something. And sometimes your emotions get the best of you. But I think Flus does a good job of kind of tempering that and making sure that we're in the moment for what we need to be doing.
I know 2-1 and 1-2 is just one game apart, but it sounds very different. Probably feels very different as a player. You got Indianapolis this week. I'm just curious as to the approach here and if anything changes tone-wise, because you're coming off a loss, but obviously you also recognize the opportunity ahead of yourselves this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how we respond. I mean, I think it's a great test for us with and obviously I can only really speak to the offensive side of the ball. I think they got such an explosive offense and guys that can kind of do it at any play. I know Jonathan Taylor very well and kind of know how dangerous he can be. But I think our mindset is just get back on track, right? Play our football and ready to get back to practice tomorrow and kind of hit this thing running. It's a big game because it's the next game in the NFL. Like, you got to show your best every single week, and that's the best part about this league. So I'm really excited to see kind of how we handle this adversity and kind of come closer together and make some good things happen. So we're ready to go.
How are you feeling physically?
I mean, I feel pretty good. It normally takes me a couple weeks to kind of get calloused from the the hits and stuff like that. The shoulders get a shoulders get a little sore and everything like that. But other than that, man, I'm good. I'm blessed for sure.
Yeah, it's funny though. You say calloused, but it's much more just sort of understanding that you're going to be in pain for the next few months, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I just got back from like a 2 mile walk with my dog, and that was tough, man. That went through the grinder right there. But no, that's kind of how it goes. You kind of, I'm telling you, like week 8 or 9, you really don't feel too bad from the hits, but those first couple weeks, they get to you for sure a little bit.
So it's more about just getting used to how you feel after going through war.
100%, 100%. A cold, you can't be in the cold tub long enough, man. You really can't.
TJ, before we let you go, you have spent weeks now on a defense that goes up against Caleb Williams regularly in practice. And we've heard all of these awesome things. And I think everybody's telling the truth. I believe everything I hear when people talk about how special Caleb Williams can be and the throws that he can make. What do you think it's going to take to translate what happens on the practice field against a defense as good as the Bears defense and have it begin to happen against real opposing defenses?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and we were, definitely telling no lies there. I've seen it for some time now. Just the throws that he's been making, the reads he's making in practice, and even some of the throws in the game. But football is such a team sport, right? So you need every single guy on the field to be operating the same. Everyone to be on the same page from offense to defense to special teams in order for it to be a success, man. It's not a league where you can go out there like the NBA and you can have two dudes go for 40 and you probably have a good game, but in the NFL, you need everyone, and that's what I'm most excited about because I know we can do it, from a team standpoint. And I think it's playing complementary football. It's playing us, getting takeaways early to set them up better in the field. It's them getting explosive plays, which will come, and so it's everyone kind of working together, man. But I'm a full believer, and I know the team's a full believer in what the offense is capable of for sure.
TJ, I know you watch a lot of film. Obviously, I don't know how much other football you watch in terms of other teams playing, but we've had so much good action here in the first couple weeks, and I'm curious as to your initial impressions as you get ready for Anthony Richardson because we've seen him do some completely athletic things
Yeah.
through a couple of weeks, and I know you probably saw the back foot throw that he hit his man in stride in the end zone. Like, what kind of challenge does a guy who's that athletic present?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone saw that throw, right? It was definitely one of the more impressive ones around the league so far. But yeah, in terms of that, I mean, he can make any throw you need him to, right? And I think what the challenge is, and I know Shane a little bit from Philly is the quarterback run game that they have incorporated, right? With such a big physical offensive line, they can kind of do a lot of things with Richardson, with him being such a big, strong dude. They like to use him a lot in that run game, and so he's a problem for sure. It's gonna take our best game to stop him, and that's what I'm excited about because it's a big time challenge, and it's gonna be an awesome environment with a really good opportunity in front of us, man.
All right, go get him. TJ, thank you. We'll talk again next week. Here's hoping you're 2-1.
All right, appreciate it, guys.